Good morning everybody, welcome to another DCS World tutorial with Shark 3-1 as part of Shark Squadron. Today we'll be learning how to do air-to-air refueling in the A-18C Hornet. Now, before we can take off and go to the tanker to get fuel, we must know where the tanker is and how to contact them. We'll do that by pressing right shift K on the kneeboard. You may also find this information in the pause menu, in briefing on the server. That's two places you can find the tanker frequency. So, for this server, Flashpoint Levant, we go into this blue tab here for Operation Damascus Steel Comms Plan. Now we want to go to the S3B recovery tanker orbiting above the boat, somewhere in the sky there. So we come down to text code 2 recovery. It's on channel 15, the red means it's on the left radio, so we scroll this knob until we get to 15. Then it's 28 X-ray, TACAN 28 on. So now we see the tank is 11 miles away, as it is in an orbit above the boat, flying above and behind it currently. So, now we have that done, you will rejoin me in the air, ready to take fuel. Welcome back viewers, you join me 0.7 miles behind the tanker, and we are ready to contact it. Now I said the tanker was on channel 15 on COM 1 on the left radio, so to access that we will press right alt and slash key or the hash key, F6 for the tanker menu, and F1 for Texca 11, which is what we want. Then intent to refuel with F1 again. So he's told us he's at 8,000 feet at 260 knots. Now the speed estimates are usually off by plus or minus 10 knots at most, so he's probably more at 250 something knots I'd guess. So, now that we've contacted him, we will deploy our refueling probe with this switch here behind the throttle. That will extend the probe, like so. Next we increase throttle, I'm going to speed up to about 265 knots to increase my closure rate and get into pre-contact position. Usually, most tankers they have two probes, one on each wing, but this one only has one, so we just go on the left wing and wait. Typically the tanker will want the first plane refueling to go on the left wing, the second on the right wing. So if there's no one else refueling with you, always go on the left wing. Now before we get into contact, we will go on to the right MFD, middle push button twice to bring up the HSI, and the left MFD, middle push button, bottom left push button to bring up the fuel page. This will give us an accurate fuel readout and prevent us having to look down constantly at the fuel gauge. Now, let's get some fuel. So the key thing here which helped me learn is you want to use a reference point on the plane you're refueling from to help you slot in. It's never recommended to chase the basket, whether in real life or in the sim, because that can lead to overcorrections and then pilot-induced oscillations where you just can't get the plane steady, which could lead to an air-to-air collision. I'm going to gently slot in behind him here. Now I find that a good reference for this particular tanker, of course each tanker needs different references, but if you put that kind of black frame there on the left engine, I find that to be quite a good reference normally. Okay, so we should be close enough now for pre-contact. F1. There we go. Now he'll deploy the drogue for us. Now we just have to slot that in. Once you have contact, another good reference is the right side canopy bow. You want that kind of obscuring the hook for carrier landings on the plane. and that is another good reference to use once you actually have the drogue in. I'm just keeping it lined up, gentle corrections, there we go. I'm going to increase throttle to get a little bit closer so we don't fall off, and get that refueling hook where I want it to be on the canopy bow. And there we go, simple as that. Of course, it'll take longer if you're refueling more fuel. I just took off, I'm only refueling 1,000 pounds. Now, if you're waiting for someone, you would form up on the right wing of the tanker and stow your probe with a left click. And then just wait in this position until they've refueled. Since we're not, we can disable TACAN, select waypoint, and fly to our mission. Thank you very much for watching, dear viewers. I hope you have a wonderful day. Shark31 signing off.